Hi, I'm Skylar Hoover, and I'm currently a first-year undergraduate student at Penn State University. Recently, I've discovered that many people believe racism no longer exists. Now, being black, I know that this is not the case, as do many people of color in America. However, for those who have not experienced racism, I can see how it may be hard for them to comprehend just how prevalent racism still is in today's society. And because of this, I took it upon myself to create this video. In 1865, slavery was abolished. Nearly 99 years later, in 1964, segregation was made illegal, calling for the integration of people of every color. It is now 2018, and upon asking different people of color about their experiences with racism, I found far too many had stories to share. Now, while some felt uncomfortable being on camera, the following stories will show just how alive and well racism still is in our society.
I can remember one time I experienced racism, and it was actually here. My freshman year, or my first year, I was on what they call frat row, and I was with a group of kids, like a group of black kids, and one actually was like this really, really tall, dark basketball player, and like just a bunch of like brown kids, and a group of white girls and her and like a bunch of guys too were just walking behind us, and I guess like we were walking kind of slow or whatever, and I just remember one of the girls like saying, "Can you hurry up?" or something, and she was like, "I can't move because like there's a bunch of niggers in my way," or something like that. Yeah, and I was like, we all turned around like, "What? Like, what did you just say?" And I think that was like, at that point, I wouldn't say I realized like I hated Penn State, but at that point I realized I was like, this place really isn't, yeah, this is what it's all cracked up to me. So frat row was like, I can't remember going there after that.
I would say I definitely experienced microaggressions probably on a daily basis, especially going to a PWI. They can be based off of anything. It can be based off of my race, my religion, the way I look, whatever, the way I dress, things like that. But those all are determinants of like my race and my ethnicity. But I guess a prime example would have been when I was younger. It was my first year in like a public school, and I'm Muslim, so I wore my hijab to school one day. And mind you, this was like post 9/11. A lot of people were very like not fond of the religion, stuff like that, but I went to like a very diverse school, so I thought it would have been okay. But I got my hijab ripped off by somebody, and this used to happen to my aunts all the time when I was younger, but I didn't think it would happen to me because I was like, oh, time has passed, like, it's not that serious, these are children, like, children would never do that. But like, no, and then teachers like asked me all these questions about it, and no one understood what it was because no one had ever like been introduced to Muslim before, and because of that, like, people were asking me really like derogatory questions, like, oh, is Osama bin Laden like your cousin or something like that, like, oh, do you know Muhammad Ali? Like, some of it was innocent and they were trying to just understand, but other parts of it were like, you could tell they were being like overtly ignorant on purpose because they wanted me to feel bad about the religion that I partook in.
It was my freshman year of college. I wasn't here. I was out in Malvern, PA. It's a rural area I don't know if you've ever been there, but it is. It was around the time, I think it was around when Trayvon Martin had gotten shot. And we were doing our Black Lives Matter marches and stuff. We had just got our t-shirts. And they were all black, white words, like have you seen before. And we decided to wear them on campus the following day. We had we dedicated the day to the basketball team because they were the only black students that we had, really. And we told them to stay encouraged, and we gave them advice on what to do being black in America and things like that. So we wore the shirts, and the feedback that we got, mostly from white students, was horrible, just terrible. And we were getting a lot of threats. It was the Black Student Union who decided to do it, and we were getting threats on, at the time it was on Yik Yak. So it was anonymous, and they were saying, we're gonna lynch all the students, hang them by their shirts, or hang them by their necks using the shirts, and all this stuff, all kinds of threats. And we were scared, we were literally scared. And we took all that information and we took it to the administration. We told them, this is what's happening, and we have an idea of who might be saying it, but we don't feel safe. Can you provide us with security and things like that? And they said, that's not possible. We actually can't find out who sent those messages. It's too anonymous. There's no way that we'll be able to help you in this situation. So okay, that's fine. They said, we'll take it to the police. So we waited. It was about a month and a half, and it was still going on. We went back to the administration, and they said, okay, we took it to the police. They said they can't do anything about it. So a few weeks later passed, and the Black Student Union president at the time went to the police, and they said, we never got a call from your school about any of this situation. If we had known, we probably could have done this and this and this. And that really upset me, honestly, knowing that my school didn't care enough to do anything for us. They didn't provide security. They didn't like try to discipline anybody. They didn't try to look into how to make Yik Yak less anonymous or something like that. And then I think maybe 4 months later, another situation happened at Mitsu or Missouri University, and they were able to find out who said something on Yik Yak. They were able to, I forgot what they did, but they were able to pinpoint who said whatever they said on Yik Yak. And that was when I realized that, wow, y'all were gonna let one of us die before you were gonna do something. You just swept it under the rug and said, okay, this is a minority group, whatever's going on with them, it's just gonna go away because you're just like, that's how I felt. You're just a small group, it doesn't really matter that much. It's not that serious.
So last semester was my first semester, and it was sometime around night, and I was on the phone with my girlfriend walking around, and I saw that an Uber driver had pulled up into the lot next to me. He dropped some people off and he stayed there for like an extra 20 minutes. So I was wondering what was going on and why he was staying so long, and then eventually I found out. He left, and then 10 minutes after he left, a cop car comes around this corner, and one of the cop vans comes around the other corner, and they turn the flashes on me. So the cops get out, they all get out of their cars, they look at me for a second, and I'm looking around like, the hell is going on? And then they get back in the cars, but the one dude comes up to me and he says, yeah, we got a call about a drunk, belligerent man on this side of campus, have you seen him? And I was like, no, I'm the only man out here. And they said, oh, well, we got a call that it was a drunken, belligerent person out here. And I'm like, if that's me, obviously I'm not. So who called? And they said the Uber driver came by and stopped and saw that someone was acting crazy out here. And I said, oh, well, I'm just on the phone. So he saw me. He got a good look at me because he was only a couple feet away from me, and he called the cops on me just because. And it's not like it was pitch black. It's not like we were out somewhere in the woods. You can't really see who I am. You saw this. Is this drunk and belligerent?
In my high school that is now infamous for giving detention to 200 plus kids for protesting school shooting, when I went there 3 years ago, I also decided to do a silent protest where I sat for the pledge, but instead of receiving the same support that the kids today received, I was told to listen to my higher ups, just follow the rules, and that was causing a stir for no reason. And it got to a point where even the faculty was hanging up signs around the school against me as a counter-protest, and I just didn't receive the same support that the kids today are receiving when it's all a white protest.
Yeah, I have. Actually, recently when I went back to Philly, I was followed around in the store. I came in there with my sister, and we were just trying to buy, old clothes. I was looking for some old CDs, records, or games, whatever. It was a thrift store. And the white woman that was sitting at the counter got out of the counter and started following me around. And as soon as I picked up a few things, she said, "Are you paying for that?" And I just looked up or down like, yeah, I'm still looking. So, she kind of backed away, and then she followed me from a distance. So I felt really uncomfortable when I left, and didn't buy anything. So, yeah, all the time.
There was once in my biology class where every time I talked to one of my white counterparts, she would change her dialect, whereas when she talked to her other white counterparts, she would be like, "Hi, how are you? How's your day been?" But like as soon as I would like sit down or anything, she would be like, "Hey girl, what's up? What you up to?" And I would just be like, "I'm fine, how are you?" And I just know that I noticed these like microaggressions, and I think there's whether or not she realized it was a form of racism.
After my boyfriend and I had been going out for a while, and I started knowing his mom and his stepdad, we were going to his house for him to go pick up something from his dad's house because his parents are separated. And I was gonna go with him. I didn't know, I was like, okay, I'll go with you to pick up the stuff. And so he said, "No, you should just stay here. I don't want you to come yet." I was like, "Oh, you don't want me to meet your dad yet?" He said, "I don't know if my dad would approve of having you with me." And I was like, "What do you mean? Like, why wouldn't your dad like me? Your mom likes me." He said, "Well, my dad doesn't really, like, wouldn't expect me to go out with somebody that's black. So I was really, like, curious why couldn't I meet his parents, or why would his parents feel any different about me? Because he doesn't feel any different about me. His mom doesn't feel any different about me. So it was just kind of just a strange feeling that somebody would judge me that I was going out with their son because I'm black.
I myself have experienced racism in a number of ways, but the one which really stuck with me the most had to be when I was at my best friend's house. She's white, and another one of our friends had been there who's also black, and we were just sitting in the kitchen having a good time, just talking. And my best friend is very loud and expressive, so I forget what had made her excited, but she got really excited, and she started jumping up and down and screaming and just flailing around. And her uncle was in the room next door to us. He began screaming, "Shut up, why are you being so loud? Calm down." And at one point, my other friend and I had heard him say niggers. We ran upstairs, away from what was happening, and my best friend stayed downstairs to talk to him. And she said to him, like, you know, "Why would you say that? That's so embarrassing. That's not okay to say. Those are my friends, and you're disrespecting them." He had said to her, "Every time you bring those niggers here, you act loud." Not only did it really hurt, but it showed me how there's still people in society today who really believe that inherently, for some reason, another race is inferior to them. And because of that, I've never been back to my best friend's house. Those who believe racism has been eradicated, it's gone, and it doesn't exist, or it's not an issue, are contributing to the issue. By staying silent and not acknowledging or choosing to ignore the problem, you're perpetuating the issue, and you're allowing it to continue. You're saying that this isn't an issue to you. Either someone else will deal with it, or it won't get dealt with. I believe that that in itself is a form of racism, because you're allowing it to be continued.
Freedom!